Hi, you. It's me. And I just wanted to go over something that was interesting. Um, I have a friend who is kind of a handyman. He can do plumbing, electrical work. He can do a lot of things. And he's doing the things that everybody says do because you can make a lot of money at that. And it never goes out of fashion. People will always need plumbers. They will always need electricians. They will always need people who can work on air conditioners, that sort of thing. Well, this person that I know, a friend, said that he had to sell his house and he now lives in a studio apartment. And you could see the sadness. It makes me really sad because you can see the stress in his face. Money is tight. And our economy is supposed to be getting better. Not yet. Not yet. If a guy who has all these skills sold his house for a little studio, something's wrong. And it makes me think about people like Amber and Chantal as well. They're so frivolous with their money. And let me just say, they're allowed to be. It's their money. They don't have to go by anybody else's rules but their own. But it can feel frustrating at times when you see people who just throw away their money for trinkets, for the 51st purse, for another hardcore meal that's, big enough for 5 people. You see all the abundance that they have. And you can't help but wonder, why do they get that? Chantal and Amber are not great people. And yet they have a lot of money coming to them. Now, that's slowing down quite a bit. And they may not believe that it'll ever happen to them. But it can in fact happen that suddenly you're put into a situation where you can't make that money anymore. That's gone. And then what are you going to do? And I think about that for Amber and for Chantal. Chantal, I would imagine, would end up going back to Canada. And would she be staying with her family? Would she be staying with Pete's? There's definitely a question as to, what would she do if she didn't have that money anymore? And I think about with Amber, what is she going to do? Would she live with her mom or her grandmother? It didn't work very well in the past. And I can't say, I don't know what Amber was like at 18, but I can say at 33, she's not very pleasant to be around. And I think her mother is just happy to have a relationship with her daughter. Personally, I think that's what it is. She doesn't, I don't know the relationship she has with her son who's in prison right now, or there was one that found him, but they never talk about him, so I don't know what's going on there. And then there's the one that hasn't popped up yet, and I wonder if she thinks about them all the time. So maybe she's just embracing Amber because it is her kid. They do seem to be a lot alike in a lot of ways. But how long would her mother put up with her if she had to live with her all the time? What would that be like? Because if you've been watching, I've been watching the ankle every morning when he puts up a video, a retro react to her with Crystal, which I found fascinating. But she is such a burden on that family. And she was with the Crystal, I think, for like 4 years. And it's truly kind of disgusting to see her just suck these people dry. I mean, seriously, not just with food, but with all the little stupid things that she likes to buy, clothing, jewelry, purses. It's not all cheap, you know, it looks cheap. And I think a lot of it was not expensive. Granted, it's not like real jewelry. It's costume jewelry. But she really took a lot from them. They even bought her a computer. You know, it's amazing to me how she was so comfortable with doing that. You know, I guess she was part of the family and all, but she didn't contribute anything. And I wonder if she stops making money, is her mother or some other family member or anyone going to put up with that? Put up with her sucking them dry? And I just don't know. Life is like that. You can be doing well, you know, rocking it, having a great time, making lots of money, having lots of friends, and then suddenly something will happen and it's taken away. And what do you do then? How have you prepared for that moment? I know it's happened to me. It's happened to my friend, just suddenly. It's happened to a lot of people. And you have to be able to fall down and get back up again. Will Amber and Chantal be able to do that? You know, my friend, yes, he's living in a studio, but I guarantee you he's got a decent savings. And he probably sold that house just to give him a bigger cushion for later on in life. I mean, there could have been numerous reasons. Obviously, he needed the money, but I'm sure he will be okay, and he seems okay, and he's still got a lot of work. It's not like he lost his job, thank goodness. Although if he did lose his job, he could probably get another one pretty quickly because he has skills that people want. What would Amber and Chantal do? You know, I have some skill sets. Making my way back to the surface, but it's hard. Especially as you get older, it's harder to put those skills into effect. You can't always do what you could 20, 30 years ago. But Amber and Chantal, Chantal is 40. It's going to be a lot harder for her. Although I think she did have some kind of a regular job. So maybe she could do some kind of customer service work or something. Amber, though, I don't know. I don't want to be rude, but she just seems very lazy and only wants to do what she wants to do. And a lot of companies aren't going to like that. If they watched any of her videos, it's going to be a lot harder for her to get hired. Never mind the fact that she is a very large woman and could be costly to a company health-wise, and maybe they don't want to invest in her. I don't know. This is probably a morbid, weird video. But life can change in extreme ways. And they're not prepared, I don't think, for that. Especially Amber. And I just wonder, what is she going to do? What is she going to do when she falls down and she can't get up? And she's in a hospital and all her money is going to bills and she has nothing left. What is she going to do with her cats and her dog? How is she going to take care of them and take care of herself when she can't? And I don't know. Sometimes life slaps you in the face and you start thinking about these things because they can and do happen all the time. And I don't think that they're looking at that. I don't think they care because they don't think it'll happen to them. But inevitably, things do end. And you have to try to look ahead to what will happen next. And I don't think either of them have. And it just makes them even sadder because they're so smug, especially Amber. She's so smug about where she is and how she's doing. She's doing so great. But that smug is going to wear off real quick. And she's going to be in tears and crying and wondering, what do I do next? You got to prepare for the present and for the future. And even then, sometimes things don't work out the way you want them to. But I just hope that Amber and Chantal consider that with the way that they treat people, who's going to be there when they really need someone? Even good people sometimes are left alone. And they're not particularly good people. So what's going to happen? I worry for them sometimes. I try not to because I know that they could care less about someone like myself. They don't care about anybody but themselves. But I still worry about them. And I wonder if we'll see that downfall. Or will they just disappear? Be interesting to watch and see. Because I don't think it's that far away. But that's my 2 cents. That's what I think. And that's all I got to say.